And I'm going to just show real quick. I'm going to share my screen. If you guys noticed in this last email that I sent out, the Taxonomy Tuesday email. Sorry, I got to find somebody's email. There we go. If you look at this particular email down here, there's a link down at the bottom. I made a new email template. So down here at the bottom, there's this icon right there takes us to this page where you can see I've put a few of them in here already. I also put a lecture in here that Leon Chernoff did for us a couple of weeks ago, and I have some other lectures that I have to get around to like formatting them correctly, and but I'll get them in there so people can look at our past lectures when you have time. All right. I can't put all the lectures in there. I have to get permission from the presenter to be able to do that. Okay. So anyway, other announcements real quick. There was an update to our lecture schedule next month. I had given some dates last time. I had to adjust one of them. That was well, let me start at the beginning. December 4th, Kathy Cripps is still up. She's a mycologist from the University of Montana. Her lecture is Mushrooms in Cold Places, the Rocky Mountains peaks to the Arctic tundra. And as she put in her bio or her blurb, she points out that the Arctic and the Alpine peaks, there's actually a lot of mushrooms in those regions. And she's considered one of the world's leading mycologists in that area. So we have that. December 9th, there was a date change on that. I think originally it was like December 11th, but that was the first day of Hanukkah. So we had to move it back to December 9th. John Michelotti, How to Quit Your Job and Devote Your Life to Mushrooms. All right, and I think we have one more lecture we're going to squeeze in there a week after that. I'll let you guys know as soon as that's possible. I also need to let you guys know November 24th, that's 2 weeks out from now. I'm unable to host the Taxonomy Tuesday because of Thanksgiving. I'm a chef by trade, and that's one of the busiest nights of the year for me, getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I will not be in front of a computer that night. If somebody wants to volunteer to host this, I'll send you the link and everything. It's super easy to do. Some people have done that for me in the past. So if anybody could host that, that would be awesome. Okay, so tonight is a show and tell, or showing off mushrooms that we've collected over the past week or two, or previously, offering an ID or requesting an ID. We do that by sharing the screen. It's a green icon in the bottom of the screen. You can click to share your screen. We get a queue going, so everyone get a turn going. So if you have mushrooms to share, just type your name into the chat and I will call on you. Or alternatively, you can email me pictures, which a couple people have done already. There are 27 people here tonight, so we do need to share the time. I just ask people to try to be respectful and try to keep it to, like 5 mushrooms or 10 minutes or so. And finally, if somebody could volunteer to type the names of the mushrooms in the chat, it makes it easier for everyone to see. So with all that being said, Virginia is the first one to have typed in here that she wanted to go. Are you ready to go, Virginia?
There. Okay. Now I put them on iNaturalist, so we'll see how if that works. Can you bring up iNaturalist, or am I supposed to?
I can do it for you if you'd like.
Yeah, could you? Because I don't know if I can do it right now with
Sure thing.
Yeah. A Mixo file. ILE. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we go down to Fisserum criteriform. Oh, too far.
Fissurum, here's a fissurum. Is this the one you're looking at?
It's Fissurum crateriform, 9/1/2020. You see, it wasn't the top one because I put some additional ones up there.
Okay.
The fourth.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. These mixo names are all of a sudden new to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This
So,
one was done in a moist chamber culture. And I thought I'd put them on and see how it goes because I don't know whether they want them on there or not. But this, as you can see, this is a couple of millimeters tall, and it's because it's white, you know it's Visceralis, and because of the lime on a dark stalk. So the next picture, the dark brown spores, and it doesn't have much of the threads, the capillicium, but it has a lime node right there, like a long, limey form.
this thing right there?
Yes, right there. That's one of the lime nodes. They're collections of lime between the threads of the capillicium, which doesn't show very much. And then one more picture, I think. This is really hard to get, but on the right is this dark stem. And I was trying to show where the top of the stem went into the fruit body and the very tip of it was limey, because that's one of the characteristics of this species.
So that's this area right there. That's
Yeah,
considered
right.
limey.
That's the tip. That would be, it's called the columella, the part that goes up into the fruit body. So that's characteristic. So this is found in, well, my sister's yard in New Jersey, and this is on grapevine bark. And it also has this other one over here. On the lower left, you can see two other species, which will be my next picture.
Okay.
But both of them were found on the same pieces of bark.
All right.
So down, it should be the next one below that.
Okay. So here's the name of this one that we're just looking at for anybody that didn't catch that.
Crateriform. And this is Kingwood Township, New Jersey.
So the Violaceae.
Violaceae, yes. Okay, now these also from a moist chamber culture. They're only about 1 millimeter or 2 tall. Now, you can find them by looking really hard out in nature, but they are difficult because they are so small. And they have the thread-like stalks. And this is grapevine bark. It's the same couple of pieces I had in the same culture as the other one I showed. So the next picture. Okay, this is what it looks up a little more closely. And then the next picture. Okay, this is the head of it. And you can see the spores that are purplish. And you can imagine that this is like a cup full of spores covered with a hairnet, which doesn't show up all of it right here, but it would have more of a net-like covering on it. And then the next picture that's just the stalk, showing the form of the stalk. And the next one. Okay, so this is the net which covers the top of the sporangia. It starts out as completely covering it, but the spaces, this disappears and forms these spaces and a net-like covering, and it has nodes, like in this species, purplish nodes that have granules in them. There's no capillicium, no threads inside of this, but the characteristic is the surface net. And that's about it, I guess.
Virginia. Hello?
Yes.
Where can you show the last one where the net is broken?
With the net,
With the
okay.
spores, the last one. That one, no, the next. That one, that one.
Right.
But how do the spores form?
Well, I can't explain that. They all, there's always a mass of spores inside of the fruit body, which is covered with what's called a peridium, a membrane covering the whole thing. And they, when the slime molds are in their feeding stage, the plasmodium, they are full of, can't think of it now, nuclei. And they divide, and there's thousands and thousands of nuclei, but these would form probably from the different nuclei.
Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Virginia,
Yes.
what are you mounting these in?
Okay, first of all, I use either a Petri dish or just containers from deli containers. So I put about 3 layers of paper towels or toilet paper on the bottom, and I put the pieces of bark or piles of leaves, whatever I have, and I put water to cover it maybe halfway and leave it overnight and pour off the water, and then just put them somewhere out of the light and check them every few days at first, and then every couple of weeks after that. And it takes a while sometimes for the fruit bodies to grow.
I'm sorry. What I meant was, when you scope this stuff, are you using a mounting fluid like KOH or H2O?
Oh, no. Yeah, you can you put a drop of alcohol first, and then you can add and then water, and then KOH if you want to make sure your spores are expanded fully. The 3% KOH.
Right.
Virginia,
yeah.
When you are preparing your pieces of bark or leaves, do you cover them or you don't?
Do I cover them? And the
Cover
containers?
the containers.
Yeah, the containers are covered.
How do you avoid from hypomyces developing? Because I did
you can't. That's a problem. They sometimes just get everything covered with fungi, and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, because I tried with bark, and I only got one little yellow thing coming out, and everything else got hypomyces really quick.
Yeah, sometimes you get the fungi first, and then you don't get any slime molds. But
okay. Thanks. That was really nice. Thank you.
Okay, and then when I'm finished, when I identify them, I let them dry out and take a little piece of like a 3x5 card and glue it onto that and put it in a little matchbox size box, and you can keep them forever that way. And that the box protects them from getting mashed. Okay, that's it.
All right, thanks, Virginia. I was curious, when you're doing this, when you're fruiting, do you have some kind of idea that there might be something on there at first, or are you just kind of randomly grabbing a piece of bark and seeing what grows?
I put bark in there and just see what grows. I mean, I might take a glance at it to see if there's anything on it first, but I don't usually find anything. If I haven't found anything when I'm looking in the woods.
I see. Okay.
I just put pieces of bark, and I do several. I mean, I've got right now, I don't know, I have 20 or 30 or 40 containers waiting for attention. So
awesome. Well, thank you, Virginia. Okay, so Marisol, you want to go? Are you guys talking, Mike and Lauren?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, is it our turn?
Yeah, and we're looking at your screen.
Okay,
That's
what?
not our screen.
Yeah, that's Marisol's.
Oh, I'm
Marisol,
sorry.
you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought,
Oh, Marisol, you can go first, but you're muted. Marisol, can you hear me? You guys can hear me, right?
yeah, we can.
Hello?
There
Hello?
we go.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, okay. I was talking to nobody.
I'll go
Okay.
after you.
Okay. So I went to Franklin Parker on Saturday, and because I can't walk too far these days, I went to a pile that I love. There is not too far from the gate in Speedwell, and it has huge pine trees and oak trees that were thrown there some time ago. So I found a lot of stuff just right there. I didn't have to go to walk too far. So I found this cool polypore. The pictures are not too great. Oh, I want to make them bigger. Nah, it won't make it bigger. Okay. So this one, the name is called Cinereomyces limbladii. I don't have a chance to write it, but I'll write it later. Okay, the cool thing about this is that when it grows on pine trees, on conifer, and it smells so horrible like a stink bug. You pick it up and it stinks horrible. So when it is young, it's white, off-white, and then as it matures, you can see a little bit down here. It's starting. No, actually, I don't know why, but there were a lot of them that were off-white, and then other ones that were brown. And I'll show you more in a minute. Okay, so this one was looking like more mature. And I did the micro, and the spores were so beautiful. This is in water, and they already had that grayish color. I don't know why the drops of matter look like bluish, but they look grayish. And when the polypore is mature, it has that kind of tone, except for the blue. The blue, I don't know how that happened. So,
I was just say, can you go back to that screen you were on just on a second ago?
this one?
Is that the name Cinereomyces
Yes.
limbladii?
Cinereo means like gray. Cinereomyces limbladii. That's the name. And the edge is white, and it's beautiful. I can't show you the details. It is like fibers, like thick with fibers right here.
Is that a polypore or is that a crust fungus?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. It's a resupinate polypore. Resupinate means it is attached to the wood, but it has pores, so it is a polypore. No crust has pores, but there are many polypores that are resupinate that look like crusts. Right. Now, how I come back to? I gotta get out and go back to. I want to go to iNaturalist. I gotta stop sharing and go back.
Marcel, what was the name of that last thing?
Cinereomyces limbladii.
Cinereomyces.
It's in the chat now.
Oh,
okay.
man, I can't go to. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I don't know why I can't go to iNaturalist. Where is iNaturalist? How did I do that? No, won't let me. Oh, how I get out of here? Close. Give me 1 second. Bear with me for 1 second. How did I get there? Can't even get out. How I can't even have the, how do I bring back? Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh, look.
Yes.
How can I get out? I don't find the bar to, how can I call back the bar?
I just move my cursor and it comes right up.
See, won't. Oh, exit full screen. Oh man, exit full screen. Ah, that's where I wanted to go. Okay. Oh, that was scary. All right. So these days I'm learning about Gallerina marginata. I think there are several Gallerinas, but I didn't even know Gallerina marginata. That seems very common. So I found it like 3 times in my visit to another area. So it's very small. It has a smooth, this one at least. It has a smooth.
We're not saying anything yet, Marisol.
No. Oh, okay. Let me go again. Close tabs. Oh, geez. Cancel. Okay, I'm so sorry. How I do that? Forgive me, I'm trying. Oh, because I am out of the Zoom meeting, share screen. Share screen. Now you see it?
Yes.
I am so sorry. Okay, so this is Gallerina marginata, maybe. The cap is smooth and it has a remnant of the veil here, or the ring is really, really thin and very fine. And it has at nape or at next, I can't talk today. Gills and a little space, you can see there. And it's very short, and the stipe is like fibrous. Same photos, you can see the ring a little bit better, and although it's a little blurry. And it is hygrophanous, which means that it loses its color depending on the level of humidity. Not too much water, so it changes the color. I found it in a huge, huge tree. And I found another one on another tree, but that one was more fresh. I'll show it to you. This one right here. It was in a swamp. There was a piece, there were several big pieces of wood in the swamp. And it was very smooth. The colors were right. Same idea like the other one. The ring right there, the space, gills. I can't see the details on this type too good there. Nah, not too good.
Did you look at spores?
Not yet, because I collected more than I could possibly work on, but I have a lot of stuff on the slides. So I just have to check the spores. But does it look like a Gallerina?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Gallerina marginata is pretty variable,
Common?
really. It's very common. It's pretty variable. Comes out this time of the year. And it changes quite a bit from the initial stage to the final stage.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's probably right. But
Okay.
when you look at the spores, you're going to look for this area, and you won't see it on all of them because it depends on how the spores are aligned when you mount them.
Yeah.
But you should see at least a few where near the apex of the spore, there's like this area that's like dug out. It's like a little trench along the apical part of the spore. And if you have a good enough microscope, you can also see that that particular little trench is smooth, whereas the rest of the spore is wrinkled or varicose.
Oh, okay. Good thing to
Yeah, so
have
that's a good thing to look for on Gallerina marginata spores.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll keep that in
They
mind.
call that thing a plague.
What?
Plage.
A what?
A little trench.
Trench. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little trench, but it's called a plage.
Oh.
So you look for that, and
Yeah.
a rusty brown spore print too, if you can get spores to drop. They usually drop pretty easily out of those.
Yeah, I have a lot of gill mushrooms dropping spores, but I couldn't get to them yet.
Right.
Okay, I found this one that is, it appears like when the weather changes, when it gets colder. It's called Sarcomexa Serotina. It may have a different name now. This one was little, but I remember I found it before and it was frozen a few years ago. This time it was okay, a little dry. And it has this grayish, greenish tone, and it grows laterally attached to the wood right here. And the gills, you can see it's a little dry. And you can see that it's like, has some kind of cottony aspect here where the gills are converging towards that point of attachment. And the margin is enrolled a little bit. Yeah, and it was growing on deciduous. Okay.
That looks to me like specimen. Where I am, it's very common.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I have a really good picture of it, but I don't know if I could get it.
I find lots of these
No,
in
no, me. Yeah.
late October, November, sometimes into December,
See?
usually on beech or birch.
Yeah, the woods where I visit is beech, but this one there was no beech. It was
Sometimes
maple.
birch, sometimes other hardwoods.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
they're younger, the gills are lighter than this. This one
Oh.
looks like it's been around for a little while.
Yes.
It's just in situ for quite a while.
And your little hairy short stem is a more golden yellow color, the same color as the gills.
Oh, okay.
When
And
it's
these
fresh.
woods here is a swamp. So it's maple, poplar, sweet gum, and pretty much that. Yeah. All right. Let me see what else I have. But yeah. Okay. So when I went to Franklin Parker in Speedwell, I always visit the cemetery in Chatsworth because I have found mushrooms there, and I love this Lacaria trulicata because it's so cool. It has this fat stem that is like the tip of a fat carrot here at the bottom, and when you cut it, they were a little old. When you cut it, it's purplish inside. They were a little old because they are more purple when they are fresher. And they grow in sand, sand, but of course this is the pine barren, so I don't know what's the relation with the conifers and oaks in there. And the, oh, I don't have, oh boy. All right, wait, let me see. I don't have the cap. It was another, okay, good. I got another observation that's better than this one. Pardon. Where is it? Okay. Oh, right here, the next. You can see how scurfy the cap is. Scaly. Scurfy means that, David? Scaly or hairy?
Oh,
Hairy.
yeah, it looks like aggregated hairs, sort of,
Oh, okay.
on those. You can, these type things go by a variety of descriptive terms.
Okay.
Scaly, hairy,
Mm-hmm.
aggregated, scales that are aggregated hairs. That's not sand though, right? On the top.
What did you
That's not
say?
like sand. That's not sand.
No,
stuff.
no sand, no sand. No,
Okay,
that was,
got it.
it belongs to the cap, yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
these ones were a little old, and there were two growing from the same stipe, and they still have that beautiful, no, not beautiful, still purplish, you could still see it. Yeah, right there. When it's fresher, it's a deep, beautiful purple, and the gills are like more purplish. You can see that the stipe is very fibrous. Do I have time for one more, or I'm good now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Those Lacaria, those trulicata, I actually tried eating them last year because somebody recommended them.
Yeah.
The flavor was actually really good.
Oh
But
my.
I couldn't get the sand out of them. No matter how much I cleaned them, I couldn't get the sand out,
Yikes.
which is a deal breaker for me.
Did you eat only the caps?
I think so. I think just the caps.
Yeah,
No,
because
no, no.
stems of
I'm-
Lacaria are really hard to chew.
I say no. I did eat the stems because I remember I peeled that bulbous area because there was a fair amount of meat at the base of them.
Ah,
But I peeled them trying to get the sand off.
oh, okay.
Lost a lot. Low yield. But they did have good flavor.
When I was there are few abandoned pine planks in that place where they threw the huge conifers and oaks, and I love them because during few years I have found beautiful crusts growing under these abandoned pine planks. So I was moving the planks where I found this mycena. By accident I broke it, so then it was exuding this white liquid. So I went to look for info about it, and then I cut the cap so it will show the same thing. And yes, there were many hidden under the plank, so they were growing horizontal, like laying on the pine needles debris. And look at how beautiful the base is. And because they were growing like in the wrong place, they were so long and so thin. But some of them were growing around the plank, so they were standing up. These guys were like laying or lying, I don't know what's the right word. Right, they're very thin and long, trying to probably reach for some light, I guess. And there was a lot happening here. There were several crusts growing here, one yellow and one white. And I am now 100% sure that this is the name, Mycena gallopus variety nigra, because there are two gallopus. I can't remember the other name, the other variety for nigra, but the characteristic was the oozing of that white milk. I'm almost done, but I wanted to show you another photo because there were several of them, and then I'll be done. Where is the one? Mycena right here. That's how I saw that it was exuding that white liquid, because I broke it by accident trying to find a crust. So it made a white bubble. The roots are very full of, have some mycelium. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Marisol.
Okay.
Okay. Mike and Lauren.
No. Hold on, bear with me.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow.
We lost you.
Yeah, we messed up. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Was that your Boletus edulis?
Sure was.
Yeah, good one.
We found 4.
Excellent.
Actually, when I say, I'm sorry, go
Okay.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did I mess up?
Yeah, you did. That's fine.
Sorry, I like unplugged something by accident. Hold on. This was crazy. I found them in 4 different locations in the span of like 2 weeks, which was very exciting because this is my first time finding these. So I basically want to know everything from you guys that I need to know about these things, including how to pronounce this one. I think, and I'm sorry, I'm going to slaughter this name. Is it Chippewayensis?
Hey, can you guys hear us?
Yeah, that sounds kind of close to me. I don't really know though. That's why I wasn't really. I know that name comes up.
I've only seen it spelled, so I've never heard anybody say it, but I put this on Facebook, and including the other ones I found, and it seems like everybody thought that all the, each one I found, that they all seemed to say that they were the same thing, which was
What's the
that.
name?
So
Oh,
here, I can type it in here.
Oh, do please.
I would pronounce it Boletus chippewayensis.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's that or
Susan.
not, I can't comment. But
Susan, do you find these in the Adirondacks, Chippewensis?
The only place I've seen that is on the table at the Montreal Club's fall exhibition in September. What
Yeah.
kind looks a lot like this around me rarely. And I still believe it's seculus, but I know that's a complex.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell the difference really between Edulus and Chippewayensis. It seems like there's a continuum that what the one blends right into the other.
What kind of trees was it growing under?
Spruce trees.
Spruce. Okay, we find some under spruce here.
This was so crazy. So I found this actually on the edge of a cemetery one day, and then no joke, like an hour or two later, I went into a different county and I found another one in a different spot. It was completely insane, and both of them I saw from the car.
When was this?
What?
When did you find them?
This was a few weeks ago. So this one I found a few weeks ago, and then okay, so that was before I took it out of the ground. Oh wait, was that? Yeah, that was before I took it out of the ground. That was just to show you guys the white reticulation on the apex. And then this was another one. I think this is the second one I found that day. This was in somebody's front yard under their spruce trees. And again, the white reticulation. And Dave, is this correct? I mean, from what I heard is that it was just a difference of like the coloration of the cap. Like this has more yellow to it than the other Edulus.
This one is a little older, but this one could be a slightly different species. One of Variopes comes to mind, but I don't remember it well enough.
Okay.
You do know that when the weather is correct for one of these things to come up, it'll be correct in your whole general area. So every place you've ever found it, you should go look again when you find one in one place. That's well known among mushroomers, that when it's up one place, it's up everywhere at the same time.
Yep. That's why I was asking when you found it.
Right.
Every October, when the weather is right, I travel from spot to spot to spot to spot and do what Susan said and check my Boletus Edulus spots. Some years I'll get maybe 10 pounds in a day. But this is not Variopes. Variopes is a summer species that grows with ochre beech.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. This is some kind of Edulus thing. And yeah, Chippewayensis, I think I remember reading that it's really, you look for a yellow cap on that. So yeah, this very well might be that species. I think the habitat is pretty much the same for Chippewayensis and at least some of the Edulus types.
But what did it look like inside? Was it good enough to eat? I mean, it wasn't too buggy?
It was. Those first two that I found on the first day, they were both solid white, no bugs whatsoever.
That's nice.
It was crazy. And then this one I found a few days ago. Actually, there were 3 in this spot. This one was the one that was in best shape. The other two were not so hot. And then I found a spot, another spot, a fourth spot, again driving, which is crazy. And there were like 10 of them there, and only like 1 out of the 10 was in decent shape to take. The rest of them were, you know, basically completely rotted, but it was super fun to find them. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys.
So did you eat the other ones?
We did. We dehydrated them and then made soup with them.
Yeah, they make great soup. You can
Very
also use them
exciting.
to make sauces and risottos and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice find.
Yeah, thank you. It was really exciting. I've been wanting to find them for years. So it was crazy to all of a sudden find so many of them just, you know, by driving. All right, so I already know what this is, but Mike is being paranoid and is making me ask you guys. So I think that these are Flammulina. I found these today just a couple of hours ago. And then there's the underside.
It looks right. The velutinous type, yep. And the shiny caps and the bouquet fashion of growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dark base of the stipe.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mike?
So would that be the main feature that would distinguish it from the Gallerina marginale?
White spore print.
What?
White
Oh, this
spore
has a white spore print. Okay.
No veil either.
Yeah, no veil. But Gallerina, the veil can disappear. So,
But
so
I
you don't
think
want to
and
count
also-
on
yeah,
that too
I'm
much.
sorry.
Does Gallerina ever have gills this light?
When they're very young, occasionally, usually not.
Do they
Yeah,
ever have stipes this dark?
Sometimes.
But
Really?
Not the
Yeah,
hairs.
but it's this. If you're in doubt, you take a spore print. You know,
Yeah.
Gallerina spore print is rusty brown. This is pure white. These guys have the whitest of the white spore prints you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
Do I remember that the bottom of the stem is also fuzzy? Flammulina velutipes, like velvet?
There should be a little. It should be a little like,
Black
maybe
here
not quite fuzzy, but like felty kind of on the bottom.
at the base of the stem.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Sometimes the stem doesn't darken. Usually it does.
So that's it for my mushrooms, but I just wanted to go back to the edulus. So can you guys tell me about your experience? Like, how often do you find it? When do you find it? What do you do with it?
Well, I rarely ever find it here in Philadelphia. It's like a major find if I see it. But if I do find it, I do like what you said. I always dehydrate them and then reconstitute them, and I usually end up reconstituting them and cooking them with like leeks or something, and usually putting them over a steak or something. How I like them.
Okay. Nice.
I'm in the Philadelphia area too, and I've never seen them around here, but I find them in the Adirondacks in the summer. Probably they're that's what I thought they were, Boletus edulis, but then when I was looking back, I think it was Variopes. But
Okay.
I'm still very excited every time I find one.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Here in Northeast PA, the edulus and the edulus types often have a split season. They'll come up in anywhere from the beginning of June to the end of June if it gets warm enough early and there's rain. And then they might be sporadic through the summer if there's a lot of rain. But then there's another big flush, usually at the end of September through the end of October. But I'm going to look for them next week because we've had mid-70s now for like 5-6 days in a row. And there's supposed to be rain tomorrow, a lot of rain. I will check my spots on Friday or Saturday. A few might come up because it got so warm. They respond to the temperature, the soil temperature.
When you guys were saying to go back to your spots, are you saying go back to spots where you found them the years prior, or are you saying if you find one, go back like a week later and go back to that same spot?
Depends on the weather.
Both.
If you have enough rain, you know, there might be a flush, and then there might be a few more soon after that. Usually, if there's a big flush, you know, they'll usually, you know, take a little rest for a while. But yeah, in response to your first question, these are mycorrhizal. Boletus edulis is mycorrhizal, unlike these Flammulina, which are saprobes. And they're associated with the trees you're finding them near. And they will occur in the same spots or very close to the same spots, maybe a slightly different tree annually.
Okay, well, I'm excited because I have 4 spots now. I'm not telling you where they are. All right, thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, guys. Okay, so I have on my list here in this order, Lila, then Sue and Dave, and then Alex R. So if anybody else has any they want to share, get them in there. So Lila, do you want to go?
Sure. Okay. Start with this tiny beauty. I think it's Rhosupinatus applicatus. And I found this maybe on the weekend, Friday or Saturday, processing firewood. It was on a piece of hickory bark. And they're just gorgeous, tiny. It was interesting, this one down here in the lower right is kind of misshapen compared to the rest of them. And they are, well, that's a close-up, not very well focused, too much magnification. But you can see here from the penny how small these are. There were even smaller ones, but actually these were the biggest ones. And I just thought they were stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, very cool.
And on the edge, you can see the, you know, they do have a cap. So it's, you know, my husband says, oh, they're like growing upside down. They're upside down mushrooms. You see their gills easily, and it's hard to see the cap, but I could get it on just on the edge of the bark here.
Do I remember they're slightly rubbery?
You know, I didn't really try to manipulate it, Susan.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Susan. I always find them a little rubbery.
Okay.
I've only found that once up here, and I was kind of excited to figure out what it was.
So that was fun. That gave me a breather. Stop and take some pictures. All right, and the other thing, I'm trying to sort out these Heballomas, and because I'm really, between these and the, yeah, I'm struggling with them, but I think I've got this one right. So I think this one actually is sublateratum, because it really has that distinctive brick colored cap. And
What kind of wood?
this one I was pretty sure is on hardwood.
Yeah, they grow on hardwood. Usually, I think very rarely that one will grow on conifer, but I think it's almost all the time on hardwood. And by the way, it got promoted. It's no longer sublateridium.
Oh, it's lateridium?
Oh, it's lateridium, right. Yeah.
Hard to keep up with all this. All right.
I have no idea why that one was changed. Yeah.
But I'm confused. It was sublateridium, so there is one Hebaloma that was lateridium before?
No, I'm confused as well. I don't know what's going on. It might be that, I don't know. Maybe, you know what, it might be that sublateridium is an American species and somebody decided that it couldn't be European, so it was sublateridium.
I see.
But then they did the DNA and I'm just guessing. You know, but that is a good question. Why would it be sublateridium and then be lateridium? You would think it would sort of go the other way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, that looks like lateridium.
And the size
It's
is
always
kind of
nice to
big.
find a few young ones with the partial veil intact. Then it sort of increases your confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I
didn't.
found them with the veil.
Would you say that this comes back every year at the same spot until the wood is decayed, or?
Hard to say. I see so many of those around here that I'm not sure if I'm seeing them in the exact same spots.
I would say
There's a
no.
trail here, Ricketts Glen, the Falls Trail, Ricketts Glen State Park. There's even when it's dry, I find these, and it's usually they don't come out until October.
If you think you want to eat them, make sure you see one that has almost black spore print.
Yeah, take a spore print. Yeah. But on the other hand, Hebaloma fasciculare, if that's the way you say it, will have the same color spore print more or less, and it's toxic. It won't kill you, but it'll make you pretty sick. So that one has green gills when it's young, and it's more yellow. And I'm not sure. I think it favors conifers. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up. But fasciculare, it has green gills to begin with, but after the spores mature, the gills get dark, so it can look like lateridium. You really want to try to find ones that have that really vividly brick color cap. Then you're going to be pretty sure you don't get fasciculare. You know what? Go to Champignons du Quebec and look at their pictures. And it's in French, so I don't know how to read most of it. I can get spore measurements from them, but they a lot of times they'll have like 20 or 30 pictures sometimes of the same species, so you can get a very good idea of the variability of the visual aspects.
Can you send me the URL for that site, Dave, or somebody?
You don't mean Michael
Michael
Quebec.
Quebec. Michael Quebec. I write it on the dialogue
Yeah,
box.
Michael Quebec, yeah.
Lila,
Yeah.
All right.
Lila,
You know
is
what?
this the spore print of the Hebaloma lateritum?
Yeah,
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 that's what it looks
Oh
like.
my gosh, the color is incredible.
Yeah,
yeah,
they call it purplish brown.
Whew.
yeah. It's quite purplish. So I have a little study going here. So these are the. I guess I spore printed the one on the left here. So I
Ah,
took a couple home, but yeah, so the gill surface area was quite pale here initially, so it's interesting.
That's a good sign when the gills are pale. Then you have a pretty good idea you don't have fasciculare, which, like I said, starts out with green gills.
Yeah, so
Green or yellow at least.
yeah, so
Lila,
yeah,
and I think that this one has a bigger size than fasciculare. It can grow
Usually.
really big.
usually bigger. Yeah,
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would need to check the reported dimensions on fasciculare. It's usually smaller with a thinner stem, but I'm not sure, what sort of diameter the caps max out at. I'd have to look it up.
all right. Well, let's look at this one. I thought it was Capnoides, but now I've been reading, and that apparently only is on conifer. And I don't think this was conifer. I can't remember now, but it was only feet away from what I think was that brick cap that we were just looking at. And
It's probably just some older brick caps then, some older faded ones.
oh yeah, now this
The stem is too long.
stem is long and it was shiny. It was kind of shimmering. I don't know what the word for that is. But it was shiny, the stipe.
Yeah, Capnoides is usually yellow, but sometimes it does get a little bit orange. But they
Dave,
can be
does
hard
that
to tell
fade on
apart.
does that fade in the sun on the cap?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
That's what that would look like to me, because those are
Yeah.
not actually dropping spores much yet.
All right, so you think these might be sun faded?
See now that color looks like capnoides there, but
Yeah.
that just might be the lighting.
Is,
But the gills still look kind of gray.
is Capnoides more on conifer?
Yes, I think it grows only on conifer.
That's
There might be some, it might cross over once in a while. But notice it's the same color spore print. And
Yeah.
and pretty much these wood inhabiting hyphalomas, they all have spore prints that look like that, basically. Sometimes maybe a little bit lighter. Maybe that just depends on how thick the print is as well. But yeah, that's what the prints look like on those. There's a slight difference in spore size. It's really, really small difference between capnoides and lateridium. So I'm not even sure how dependable that would be.
So you think this one could be just an older lateridium?
I think so, yeah. I'm not so sure that, I mean, that is unusual for the stock to be that thin and long. But, mushrooms don't always look exactly the same way. And I mean, it could just be because these were growing from down low and they needed to get up kind of high.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so
Usually the stalks are shorter though and thicker.
all right, here they are together, the two, the collection, just feet apart.
Yeah, that is
Okay,
pretty
now
yellow there, that one on the
sorry.
bottom. Yeah, that is kind of yellow. I mean, maybe that is capnoides. So you could compare spore size. It's,
when I get that microscope.
yeah, that might be a way. And see this, if they are different, then notice the spore prints really don't look all that different.
Yeah, this one is a little darker, a little purpler, but it dropped way
It's
more
thicker.
colors. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's thicker.
than this one, but very similar. So, all right, so they may be the same species, just somewhat different in age.
Yeah, maybe not. I find telling the difference between capnoides and lateridium sometimes is tricky. And usually I'll be satisfied to call something capnoides if it's on hardwood and it has that real orangish brick red sort of cap color, then I'm pretty sure. Otherwise sometimes I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm never going to get these sorted out, but I'm going to keep trying. All right, I think that was it that I wanted to talk about tonight. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lila. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I have a set of photographs from Sue Hopkins and from Dave. You want to go first, Sue? I just got to get to your.
Okay. I don't know how to put them up.
You don't have to do anything. I'll share it
That's
for
what
you.
I figured. Yeah, that's what I thought.
There we go. So you just have to talk.
Right. This, I actually took this last Saturday at the Paul Smith's Vic in wood chips over by the dam. And they've been coming out for about the last 3 weeks. They're quite distinctive. And the ones that I took a picture of 3 weeks ago was just covered with flies. But these are still coming up as cold as we've had, although the last week or so we've had 60, 65 degrees and fairly moist. We had 7 inches of snow last week, but I just thought they were beautiful because somebody had this last week.
Well, you guys can see the name of them up here in the upper left.
Yeah, that's like a field guide quality photo.
Yeah, really nice.
You've got the egg that's not hatched yet, one that's just hatched out of the egg, and the one that's in the back a little bit is nearing maturity. That's a really good photo.
Thank you. That's also just on a cell phone Moto E4 Plus. I like it because of the optics, and I take hundreds of pictures of mushrooms, and it's not worth taking a picture unless it's good, so that you can show the quality, whatever the features are of the mushroom that you need to see to identify it.
Nice.
Yeah. Right, this one, I wondered if somebody can confirm what I've called it. It is horse dung. This I took on October 23rd, remembering that I'm about 3 weeks ahead of you for most fall mushrooms.
Stropharia semiglobata.
Yeah, or I think it's now,
Deconica, maybe?
it's got something in front of it. No, huh? Okay.
It's not, so it's Stropharia? Stropharia?
Yeah, when you Google it, it's got something in front. Somebody's changed the genus a little bit, but I forget what they called it.
Oh, okay, so it's like blah blah Stropharia.
Right.
Yeah.
If that's what this is. I don't find this sort of thing very often, and this was a spot I was looking for other things.
Oh, Protostropharia semiglobata.
Protostropharia. Yeah, I think the color of the gills supports Stropharia because they're dark gray. So if it was, say, for instance, Agroscope pedioides, which is more of a grass,
It would be brown, wouldn't it?
you would have brown gills, right? Otherwise it looks pretty much the same. Yeah. So I'm just pointing out that's something in Stropharia, or these offshoots of Stropharia, like Lauratiomyces. That's another
so I'm
one.
close. That's good.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably yeah.
I'm just looking through pictures on my phone of off the internet, and it looks pretty spot on. Even like the modeled gills.
Oh yeah, okay.
With your name, so it looks right.
Yeah, I keep a file with all of the mushrooms that I've identified so I can look back on them. So I'd like to be able to put this one in. Okay. Now this, some of you know that I'm a dyer. That is, I dye wool with mushrooms. And at this picture I took on September 16th. And there's 8 different species of Teleferaceae in this picture. And if you notice, they don't all look similar. And for some of us who are more advanced, we have gotten into the clades and the DNA work. Most of these are tooth fungi, but if you see the gray one down in the lower right, it looks like a bolete, but it isn't a bolete. It's actually a polypore, but it's called a boletopsis. Makes a fabulous green in the dye pot. And then that thing that looks kind of ruffly in the middle lower is Telefera anthrocephala, I think it is. And it's, I mean, it doesn't look anything like the others at all. So I think it's kind of interesting. And the fact that I happen to collect these all in the same day in the same area. I live in a highly conifer area up here near Lake Placid. So for me, it was when they started to talk about the clades and how they were related, different forms of different species, all more related than things that look like more like tooth fungi, say, or in the case of the bolete, it's not a bolete. They all dye in the same range of colors, which is tealy green, blue greens. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. It was exciting for me to find that many in one day.
Are some of those Hydnellum up top?
Yes, yes. I can, if you start up in the upper left-hand corner and just below it, that's Hydnellum aurantiacum, very orange side. The one next to it in the middle top, that's top, is Hydnellum ceruleum. I have another picture I didn't show of the whole tray of the ceruleums looking more blue on the edge. And then there's a Sarcodon just to the right of it and above, which is fleshy with brown. No, not that one, the one that's behind it.
Yeah, those two.
Oh, yeah.
That one, the one he's got the arrow on is Hydnellum pinticola or ferruginum. The black fuzzy and the middle turned up one is Phelodon alboniger. White spores, tough and leathery. And then the Bolitopsis. And then down in the left-hand corner is Hydnellum concrescens orbiculatum. I've given up trying to separate them, but they make a fabulous blue-green color. So they're mostly Hydnellums that I'm looking at this time of year because they like it cool and wet. They won't come, some of them will start in August, and they are, I think, all mycorrhizal because except for the little corally thing, they all grow in exactly the same places every year. Bolitopsis is a little bit more elusive because the weather has to be just right for that to come out. This year has been good for the Bolitopsis, but all the other ones, I can always find them every year in the exact same spot. Well, maybe not the Hydnellum concrescens scorpiculatum. I'd like to be able to find more of that. In fact, you folks down in New Jersey in more deciduous woods are more likely to find that than I am in quantity.
So do all the Hydnellums produce a dye color?
They all produce some sort of the telophoric acid, which is the pigment, I think, that creates the dye, but they all have various amounts. They're not all the same. Some are strong dyers, some are weak dyers, and some of them are pathetic. The Hydnellum ceruleum is quite good. The Hydnellum aurantiacum is quite good. The brown one over on the right up high doesn't do diddly squat. I mean, it's the most common one around here. And the Sarcodon behind it, I have to use a 4-to-1 ratio of dried mushroom to wool to get a decent color, which is not strong. The Phelodon alboniger is pretty okay, but they're all a little temperamental to get color out of. You have to make the dye bath basic, which add ammonia is what I do. And I haven't had enough ever of the Anthrocephala to try. Bolitopsis I just worked with this year, and it's really, really good. Very interesting greens. But since I knew it was a Telephoraceae family, I added the ammonia for the basic, and I'm sure I improved the colors with that. So anyway, I've had fun with that this fall.
Very cool.
Yes.
And then this maybe young Marasmius coherens, but otherwise I have no idea. Clitosabula familia is usually, I think, a little whiter. But otherwise, I do not know what this is.
Scope it and look for the big pleurocystidia. Then you'll know if it's Marasmius coherens. It's got these gigantic cystidia all over the gills.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's coherens.
This is in the middle of September. You're sure it is that?
No, but it looks like it might be. There's another species that's been split off of coherens also. If you go on Mushroom Observer, you can probably find it just by searching coherens. I forget the name. There's like 2 species now that look the same, but they all have, I'm pretty sure it's coherens, has these great big pleurocystidia, metuloids, I think they might call them. And so you can't help but see them even if you scope them at low magnification, you're going to see them.
I did not send the picture that I have that I'm sure is Marasmius coherens just because I didn't want to overload Luke, but I have a better, what I would call a really good picture of that species, in that when it's mature, the gills, it's a white spore print from Marasmius, but the gills
They
don't
get brown.
Slightly brown.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this one, when I was looking at the stem, looks similar, but the stem down low doesn't look like the same brown. But I thought
it's still darker. You know what? I think that's one of the 2 species, coherens, or the other one that's the split off. I think one of the distinctions might be the gills stay pale. I'm not sure. I forget.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I don't often see big clusters of little mushrooms like growing this, which I thought was pretty neat. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you for putting them up, Luke.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so Dave, we're going to go to you, and then Alex and Holly are the last two that I have in the queue. So you tell me where you want to go here, Dave.
Well, this one slime mold is really pretty cool. And I think somebody proposed a name on Mushroom Observer, so I haven't even looked yet, but I got a message in my email. So these things, these little purple things. Oh, no, this one. Oh, it's the other one. Well, this one's pretty cool too, but this one just looks kind of like a puffball. So it's the other one that's really cool. But this one had pretty interesting spores. The spores had spines on them. You can't see it in the picture because that's not my better microscope. My better microscope, I don't get good pictures. But the spores on these guys, I think it's in the notes. I think it's this one. Yeah, the spores had fairly long, thin spines, really, really sharp points on the end, almost 1 micron long. So I'm going to check that information against the proposal that somebody put on there, Reticularia lycoperdon, and it does look like a lycoperdon. The other slime mold is the one that's really cool.
Dave?
I mean, this one's pretty cool too. Yes?
I was just looking in my book here, Reticularia lycoperdon doesn't have spines on the spores, but it has like a network on.
Oh, geez, I saw a couple of pretty long spines, so it might be something else then.
It's probably
I'll have
something
to,
else.
try to do a little research. So the other slime mold is the one that's really, so I guess it's the second one here. Yeah. And I think someone has made a proposal on this also, but I haven't had time to look these things up. These were collected, found at our local club. Had a foray last Saturday, and so you can see these.
They do look like, I've never collected them. They look like the picture. Did you put them under the microscope?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, well, they have round spores. I didn't see much ornamentation. I also, I just like crushed some and mounted in some KOH. And also, these are kind of grainy. And I think one of the things that I saw with the scope at low magnification, like 100 power, is coming up here. So this is just the spores, I think. So they're just round.
Yeah, they have rather plain spores.
Rather plain spores. I didn't notice any ornamentation.
No
but there's
ornamentation.
another.
No.
Yeah, I didn't notice any. I looked with the other scope. I didn't see anything. Then that's just one of the fruit bodies with, I guess the top got crushed.
You didn't get a more close-up picture of that one, because that has a net with nodes. It should have a node. It does look like there's a net.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Is that what you were showing earlier?
It's a different species. This is maybe Cribraria purpurea, like you said. It could be that.
But same genus.
That's what somebody proposed. I had no idea what it was because I don't know slime mold very well.
Same genus, yes.
There's one more micro that looks pretty cool. So there's these little grains on. I think that's what this next micro captured was one of the grains that's on the fruit body, and this is low magnification, about 100. It's not 400. I think it's 100. So this purple thing is like one of the grains. I think that's in KOH.
That could be the peridium. The purple is the peridium. That's a good picture. I think that would be the peridium. And the little tiny, Yeah, they do have grains, dark grains in that species. Just check. I've never collected that one, but there are granules in that one that are dark.
Yeah, these fruit bodies were about the size of the head of a pin.
Right,
Yeah,
correct.
they're really small. I didn't see them. I think maybe there was some children on the foray, and I think one of the girls, you know, like the 9-year-old girl, she found it. I
They're
think.
lower to the ground.
She just said, like, look, purple things, you know.
And better
And,
eyes.
they were on really, really well rotted wood.
Right,
So, yeah, I couldn't tell what kind of wood. It was pretty
Yeah.
far gone.
and those spores are a little bit smaller than the one that I collected. They should be a little smaller, 5 or 6 microns.
Yeah, I'll look at it. Well, you know what? Back to the spore picture, maybe, because I have to do a conversion factor on mine because this is 400 power. So each gradation on each of these is 2.5 microns. So yeah, looks like less than 6 microns, most of them. You know,
Right,
maybe
5 or
5.5
6, yeah.
or so.
Yeah,
I'm just guesstimating right now, but that looks about right. Oh, okay, good.
um,
Pretty cool though. I took a lot of pictures of
oh
those.
yeah, they are pretty. I like those. I have never seen them before.
I never saw that.
Yeah,
So
this
there's
is
your
the book
name.
I use.
Oh, where is it?
Les Myxomycetes. It's in French,
Oh boy. Okay.
but you could read the. It has two volumes, and the other one is both French and English.
Oh, okay.
Can you put that
Okay.
up again, Virginia? Can you show that on your? Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
two volumes. The other volume is the descriptions. So this is just the pictures and it shows the spores and the capillicium and so
I don't
on.
see
But the
any
other
here.
volume has the descriptions. And it's from France, and it cost about $100 a book, I think, at least.
Okay. You know what? That might end up being added to my collection.
Mhm.
Thanks. So this next thing here, this thing that I thought it might be Croco Gomphus flavipes. Oh wait, this first. This is really cool. This thing. I mean, it looks just like this glob, but this is apparently not very common. I had totally misidentified it. The picture in the Ascomycete book looks nothing like this. Absolutely nothing like this. And so I found something that looked like it. The micro seemed sort of in the ballpark. So I said, okay, that's what it is. And then Django Grootmeyers, who's a very good identifier on Mushroom Observer, he was on like in a half an hour and telling me I was wrong. And he identified it. And one of the micros, there we have the spores. The spores were really a very important feature here. The bigutulate, long elliptical, verging on what's that word they use when they look like sausages? But they alanoid. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these spores they're almost all like 6 to 8 microns long, right on target for this irregularis thing. And the asci looked right. My micro is not great, so I'm not really patient. I just like chop off a piece and crush it, you know, in some mounting liquid. It's not the best way to do it. But these are mainly asci here. I think there's another picture where you got a better look at an ascus. And I'm not sure if I found any paraphyses. I found these things that I thought were paraphyses, but now I'm wondering if they really. There's a nice shot of an ascus there. There, right there. That's not bad. You can see the little bigutulate spores are in there.
Yeah, like on an angle, right?
Yeah, they're kind of piled in there. They're not like lined up nicely like some asci will do.
So
Um,
just to jump in here real quick, so if anybody's wondering what these technical terms are, this is an ascospore type mushroom, and these are the asci, however you say that. So these are the sacs that are filled with the spores. So these spores at some point will release, I'm sorry, these sacs at some point will release the spores out of them.
yeah, this was growing on well-rotted wood, hardwood. Now this thing here, that last one I thought may have been a paraphis. When I first looked at it, I thought, well, what else could it be? That must be oh no, that's an ascus right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the picture before this. I thought might be but then the paraphyses are supposed to look a little different than this, so I'm not sure what this is. It might just be something that got mixed in, some debris or something. Because the paraphyses are supposed to have they're supposed to be septate, and meaning they're like divided into pieces that are connected together. And now maybe this one's just too young. I don't know, but the apex is supposed to be, oh, geez, how do you say the word? Lanceolate or something like that. So in other words, the end looks like a lance, kind of. It's pointed. Now, if you look here, right next to that one, though, there is something right next to it that looks like it's pointed. And I found a few other things that were just barely sticking out of the hymenium that looked like pretty sharp points. So I'm guessing those are actually the paraphyses.
You're talking specifically about the paraphyses for this species or in general?
No, this species.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to have like these lanceolate apices, at least when they're mature. So I'm not sure if I captured that at all. But the spores were like right on for this irregularis thing. And actually, however you say that, ionomydotis, I guess. And so the picture in the ASCO book is young ones, and they don't look anything like this. So I just passed right over that and thought, that's not it. But then I looked in Mushroom Expert, and actually Mushroom Expert has this species in it, and Michael Quo's pictures look like these. And he's got a picture, I believe he has a picture of the spores too.
So what's the right name? Ionomydotis? Or Encoelia?
What is it, Mitodotis or what? That's the old name, I think. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I looked it up on Index Fungorum. And and the new name is this
Ionomydotis?
Yeah, whatever.
What's the species?
There you go.
Irregularis.
Oh, irregularis. Okay, Ionomydotis irregularis.
Yeah. So Django is heel splitter. So 84% means that he's saying he's absolutely certain what this is, pretty much. And it really keys out very well with Mushroom Expert with their rendition. So some of the description I put up here, I described the paraphyses because I thought that thing was a paraphys, but it might not be. I might just have to edit this and take that out because you can edit your observations on Mushroom Observer whenever you want.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It's supposedly pretty uncommon, although I think Michael Quo may have said that it's just people just don't see it, because it looks like it doesn't look like much of anything really.
How big was it?
They're not too big. They were maybe about maybe 3-4 centimeters high, and maybe a centimeter wide, somewhere around there.
Okay.
They weren't
on hardwood?
I think so. Yeah, it was kind of well-rotted wood, but it was in an area with a lot of hardwood.
Okay.
With beech and oak, and I mean there was some hemlock there also, but I think it was on wood. What else do we have here? This next thing, this Croco Gomphus. So at Ricketts Glen State Park, they recently planted a few small white pines, like saplings. They're maybe about 12 feet high now. They planted them a year or two ago. And this looks like, these look a little dark on the caps for Croco Gomphus vinicolor, which is maybe the more common species. And the stalks were really pretty yellow too. And and I tried eating these because Croco Gomphus and Gomphidius, I don't know of any problem species in those genera. And they're actually pretty good. So I ate a few of them. They were pretty good. I preserved some too. I have a sample preserved of this thing. I should have taken a picture of one section because the flesh was really, really pretty bright yellow. And I just neglected to do that. The spores are pretty big. Excuse me? The species? I'm not sure if this is vinicolor or flavipes. At first I thought flavipes, but you know what? I was back at Ricketts at the site on Saturday, and there were still a few of them there, and they were old and rotting, but they had become somewhat purple. So I'm wondering if they might be vinicolor. You know what? I'm going to have to compare the micro, what's reported for vinicolor. You can't get much information on flavipes. I couldn't find anything. Champignon du Quebec has flavipes. And they say the spores, the lengths of the spores are 18 to 29 with not much variation in width. So there are mistakes in Champignon du Quebec. There's a few mistakes. I've seen them. And I'm wondering if the maximum spore size for this flavipes thing of 29 microns might be a misprint. So those are mature ones. Same thing. They were growing, right next to one another, pretty much just a couple of feet away. That's the same species. I'm pretty much certain. And yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
I have not ever. I have found Croco Gomphus vinicolor at Ricketts Glen in the past, but they weren't this dark. So. I'm gonna write down that book name actually too. Okay, jelly tooth we saw last week. If you want to see it again, there it is. Brown witch's butter. That's pretty cool stuff. Pseudohydnum gelatinosum. Yeah, it's a little flabby kind of. It's sort of nondescript from above, but then when you look underneath, it's a tooth mushroom. It's got these spines. So it's a jelly fungus with spines, and it's pretty common on hemlock. I find that a lot of it around here.
Dave?
Yes.
Alan Rockefeller just corrected me. That name is an European name, so our species doesn't have one. They're working on its DNA.
Oh, well, you know what? I sent a bunch of these to
Yeah.
Elsa Vilenga about 3 years ago, and I haven't heard anything.
Oh.
Me
So,
too.
yeah, you too. Yeah, I sent her like 5 collections. So
It's very common where I am, and that's an older specimen that's turned brown, because they're usually a kind of a translucent gray white color on top.
Yeah, and the spines are really long on this one too. A lot of times they're just like little knobs when they're young.
Yeah, it's a very interesting mushroom.
That's a pretty interesting, yeah. So I guess this was sort of worth looking at. It's a little bit different than usual. So brown witch's butter is now no longer tremula. Now it's, I think it's Phaeo tremula. There's 2 species that look like this. And I'm pretty sure this one's Foliacea. I think that's the more common one, and the spores seem to match pretty well. So these are big. This is a big mass of stuff.
Dave, that doesn't look Foliacea.
No.
What do you think? What do you think it is?
Species. It's the other one. Foliacea looks like a lettuce standing up. This one is not like that.
Well, there's another picture. Let's look at the other picture.
No, still.
No.
No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
All right, it's probably the other one then.
The other one. I know it.
They both have spores that are pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah, they both have like spores that are subglobose, broadly ellipsoid. Okay, so it's probably the other one. Well,
both have
look
the
through that
same-
again.
Do both have the same name, Phaeotremella?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
they're both Phaeotremella. Yeah.
Frondosi. I had that last week, I think. Frondosi.
See, we talk about that.
Frondosa, yeah, I think that's it. Frondosa. Okay, so you think it's that one? All right, yeah, well, I'll check that out, and I'll make an adjustment on the observation. Change my photo names. Okay. So this one here, it's not in very good shape. Ossicolus or Hypsizygus. I'm not quite sure I know how to tell the difference, but I think this is Ossicolus because it was not on maple, and it was not. Well, we don't have elm at Ricketts. There's no elm at Ricketts. It was on birch. This was on standing birch, growing from a depression in the wood. It seems a little big maybe for Ossicolus. Although Champignon du Quebec says that Ossicolus goes up to like 11 centimeters cap width. This really
That often, that the Ossicolus, you see that very often?
You know, I don't know, because I may have been mistaking it for Hypsizygus for years. I'm not really sure.
Did it
But I
have
don't
a
think
nasty
so.
smell?
You know, I forgot this. I did. You know what? I still have it here. I should smell it. You're right. I need to
Sometimes
smell it.
fades. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to stink. Yeah. You know what? I still have it here. Yeah, I'll smell it. But I think it's this. I think it's Ossicolus. Actually, when I do find what I think is Hypsizygus, it's almost always on live maple. So that probably really is Hypsizygus.
Which one?
Hypsizygus is almost always on live maple.
Oh, Hypsizygus?
So I think this is Ossicolus. I think the birch was dead. It was a little hard to tell because all the leaves are down now.
Nah, I don't know how to write Ossicolus.
Don't they say that this often grows on the insides of like rotted logs? Like you find them on the insides of the big decayed stumps?
Maybe, you know what? There's another thing that somebody found on the inside of a log, like in a knot hole. He had to like reach in and pull it out, and it fell apart. But it had like a really dark cap. So that's the thing that I called "What the heck is it?" here in the
Dave,
Yeah,
it's only one Ossicolus, or there are few species?
I think I only know of one.
Ah, okay.
Oh, there might be two. You know what? I think when I was looking in Champignon du Quebec, they may have another one listed, but I had never heard of it before.
Right.
So this "What the heck is it?" This one was in a knothole. One of the people on the foray, he spotted it. He looked inside a hole in a tree. I'm not sure if it was maple or oak. I think it was one of the two. And he had to like reach his arm all the way in, and then he pulled it out and it fell apart. It wasn't very fresh, but it also has spores that are not that different from that other thing we just looked at. You know, it's got pretty much subglobose, broad. The spores actually vary in shape quite a bit from broadly ellipsoid up to pretty much almost globose. But that might be the ones that are globose might look that way because of the way they're aligned. It's a little hard to tell. But small spores, very small spores. Ossicolus has small spores. I know that. But look at this color, though. I mean, I have not seen any pictures of Ossicolus that has this like gray cap color. But it's probably what they are. What this is really. Probably what it is. It's pretty big though too. This was pretty big.
How big?
Oh, geez. Probably, over 4 inches across.
Oh, wow, that's big.
Yeah, that would be pretty big for
Yep.
Ossicolus. So I don't know. So I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody will make a suggestion on Mushroom Observers. So I've been meaning to try eating this for a long time. This next one, I trim the tender margin. It's really common. Ichnoderma resinosum. So I found people were finding them left and right on the foray. Everybody had one. You know? So they were all pretty young. You know, the margins were nice and soft and sort of rubbery. So I took some home and cut off a margin. It wasn't this one; it was a younger one that I cut off and I fried it up. And you know,
do
nothing
both
special.
do both Ichnoderma species
What's
stain?
that? Yeah, these things stain readily.
Okay.
That's one of the distinguishing features. You rub the pore surface and it turns brown. Yeah, these are really common. They're like I see so many of these every year at Ricketts. So they grow on hardwood, a lot of times on beach. So the one picture showed the little why they're called resinosum. Yeah, there's one picture. It doesn't look like much until you do a zoom on it. So that would be, let's see. I can't really see because that one. Yeah, if you do a zoom on that, you'll see the resin drops. See the little drops of resin? Yeah, they're usually they're not clear. They're like a little bit amber colored. So there's a nice big drop of resin. That's why it's Ichnoderma resinosum. They exude resin when they're young.
Do you mean that the other one Benzonium doesn't have these drops?
I don't know, but I've never identified Benzonium.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure, you know, but these are almost certainly resinosum. They're every year I see them. Yeah, I guess there's a few more if we have time.
Yeah, well, Alex and Holly both have something to do, so maybe like one
Go
more and
ahead.
we'll give them a chance.
You know what? There's this next one. Lots of these in the woods right now. That's brickcap. Since we were talking about brickcap, here it is. You can see the caps are they really have that nice orange color, that brick orange color. And those, I tore away some of the partial veil there so you can see the gills, and the gills are pretty much white when they're young. So anyway, I guess that doesn't add a whole lot of understanding to
So I gotta find
Hebaloma.
some younger ones to compare.
Yeah. When it's like when you get them young like this, you at least know you don't have fasciculare, and you have that nice orange cap color too. So then you can be pretty sure.
Are those edible?
That's what I tried them once. I was not all that impressed, but I may have eaten some that were past prime. I'm not sure. I keep saying I'm going to try them again, and then I don't get around to it.
Yeah, I've eaten them a bunch of times. Well, maybe not a bunch of times, but more than once, and I've seemed to have enjoyed them.
I'll try them again. These would have been good candidates to eat right here because they're in very nice condition.
But you have to make sure you've seen the dark spore print.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit, really. And then by the time you get a spore print, then they're mature, so they're not. They're no longer like the best condition to eat. And
if you are going to eat them, I say if you are going to eat them, Bill Russell in his book, that Mushrooms of Pennsylvania, he says you have to wait until after a good frost.
Oh, why is that?
He says they're kind of bitter before that.
Oh, really?
That's what he says.
Oh, we've had a good frost. Huh, that's interesting. Never heard that. Okay, yeah. Okay, move on. Yeah, let somebody else go.
Thanks, Dave. Alex. So we have Alex and Holly. Alex, you said you wanted to show something and had a question?
Hi, I give very brief introduction for myself. Probably everybody see my first time. I joined the New Jersey Mycological Association since last year, but it was just because of busy. I didn't attend lots of foraging events, so probably people not very familiar with me. So I get interested in the fungi. I mean, I would say mushrooms since last year. So most of my observation, I put it on iNaturalist. So this is the first time I joined our taxonomy because I was recommended by a friend. I was also in the NJ MA club, association as a member. Let me just share my screen. I have the observation on iNaturalist because I don't know very well of the mushroom I observe. So I really need your guys' help. I will cut it short and make it quick, and then let's take a look. Let me share my screen.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I made a very quick talk because I don't wanna take everybody's time. Just because I also wish that if anybody feel free that you can go to my iNaturalist to just check my my observation. If anybody can give like any suggestion will be welcome. So I will go to my observation.
What's your name in iNaturalist?
Oh, I have a very weird name. Let me type it. So it's called.
Yeah, I don't see it.
It's called. My name is Ming. I really didn't use the real. The computer is actually not my computer. It's my roommate's computer.
Oh.
So it's not I'm not Alex R. It's just the name of the computer.
Oh.
I don't know how to get this down. Okay, give me a second.
So your name is Ming?
Ming, M-I-N-G, M-I-N-G.
I got it. Okay. Not Alex. Hi, Ming.
You will find me on the member too. My full name. But give me a second. This is like when I share screen, there will be some problem. I'm so sorry.
It's hard to use a chat function when you're sharing a screen. So
yeah, that's a problem. Okay.
Maybe you should just show us your mushrooms first, and then afterwards you can tell us your name.
Yeah.
You can type in your name.
Sure. So can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I will just share. I have specific one I want to ask. Some of them I really don't understand what it is. So based on I observed this. It's a little bit slow. Can you see on my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, on the AI, just iNaturally suggests as a frequent funnel, but I don't know what it is. So this is a cap. So when I take a picture, I have the ruler. You can see the shape. So you can hear, this is a cap. And this on this side is a ruler. And let me go to the next picture. So this is a gill. And
I think it's your Gallerina again, Dave.
it's actually not Gallerina because the spore
looks white spore.
Oh, looks white spore.
The spore is very white, and the stem is very interesting. The stem is asymmetric. It's like oval shape, and it's hollow. I made a cut. You'll see later.
Nice photo.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just like I purchased a good camera because I really love taking pictures of mushrooms. So
did you smell it?
I'm sorry?
Did you
this
smell
one,
it?
yeah, actually no smell. No smell. It's not fragrant. There's no smell. Okay, you can see this is.
Come up with the name, with the fragrance.
That was the iNaturalist suggestion.
That's a piece of
I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
That's a computer generalized.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Got you.
Can you see this picture? I cut it off. So this is a spore, right? This is spore print, which is white, and the stem is actually like this. So it's a stem. The shape of the stem is like
flat.
It's not round. It's like it's like a oval shape, and you see it's hollow here. And I also took.
Can I see the stems again?
Stem, yes. It's here. It's like a bean. It's like a flat bean. It's not round. You know what I mean?
Flattened. It's flattened.
It's flattened.
Do any of the stems have like a vertical seam running down the side?
No, you see, this is a stem. You see, it just let me enlarge it. I don't know how to describe this.
That one's a little bit. There's a little bit of a vertical depression running down the stem.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be correct, and it might not key out very well. But another Clitosobe you might want to look into is Clitosobe compressipes.
Compressipi. Can you please type it in there?
Compressipes?
Yeah, it's pretty much phonetic with double S.
Double S, okay. Compressipes, something like this. I'm not sure.
Compress.
Yeah, I would check. I cannot see that.
I-P-E-S, I-P-E-S on the end.
P-E-S, okay.
Yeah, not an A,
Oh.
I-P-E-S.
Mesophaeum, okay.
Yeah, I think Mushroom Expert has it. Yeah, it's
Sure, sure.
I-P-E-S.
Sure, I will take a,
Okay, sorry.
I take
Yeah,
a look
look at
into
that
it.
species. Look at that species. But these
Compressipes.
cats, the
Compressipes.
stems there look a little bit ornamented, and I'm not sure if you see that on that species. But
Sure, sure.
yeah, but it looks
Sure.
like a Clatosabe at least. You know, I would.
Yeah. That's yeah. First, I want to get to the genus, right? Then
I think that's probably right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me go. I would just talk about like let's say like the 5. I would just say between 4 and 5. It will be good enough. There will be
just another minute or two, okay, man? Because Holly wants to go too, and we're almost out of time.
Oh, sure. Yes, we can do it next week. Don't worry. Also, this one is also, this one is very fragrant. Is under the pine tree. It's under the pine tree. The size is approximately 2-inch wide with a cap.
You don't see it.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's just very slow.
Oh, it's floating. I see. Yeah.
It's loading. Yeah, here we go. So
nice.
It's very fragrant. I think it is Clitocybe, but not 100% sure. And you can see this on this. This is a root. I would say root, or where is it's like a club.
Claviceps.
Clitosabe clavipes.
Clavipes, it's too light for clavipes.
It can sometimes be that white, Dave.
Well, there's another one called subclavipes.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, it's very. This one is very fragrant. It smells like it smells like a lily flower. It smells like lily flower, like a perfume.
Like mealy flower. Yeah, that sounds right. Clitosabe clavipes.
It's not claviceps, it's clavipes.
Oh, okay. Clavipes? I'm sorry.
Yeah, P-E-S.
Clavipes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I think it's a different genus now, isn't it, Dave? It's some funny.
Oh, Ampuliclitocybe.
Yeah.
Yes, A-M-P-U-L-L-I.
Ampuli?
Clitocybe.
Clitocybe. Okay, got it. I think that I got it.
All right, sure. Thank you, guys. Okay, I will just stop.
I think instead of a Y, I think it's an I. C-L-I.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I do some. I also take some picture of the spores, but not this time. I will connect you guys on the iNaturalist, because I know Maricel's account, so I'm probably gonna leave her a message. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah. Please.
Okay, that would be great. I think Luke, I would just stop right now. So probably we can continue next. I know that you're not here next week, but
2 weeks out we're not here. Next week we are here, and yeah, we'll try to get you in sooner and really get through your mushrooms. Okay.
Oh, okay, sure, no problem. Let me just quit sharing my screen, okay?
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, no problem.
Thanks, Ming.
Okay.
All right. Holly, you're the grand finale.
I'm not sure how to share my screen on Zoom.
There is a green arrow on the bottom.
Oh, share screen. That's easy. Okay.
Well, but how do you have to have something on the screen?
Okay.
We don't see it yet.
Sorry. Okay. So this picture isn't that great. but it was on this log here. There was like an area with lots and lots of trees that were down, and under where the trees had fallen, there were lots of different mushrooms growing. But I saw this like little, this is like really tiny, these like little tiny tooth something. And I was wondering if that is like a baby lion's mane and I should go back and try to eat it.
No,
No.
Don't eat it.
lion's mane is a crossed. It's called Rhabdomyces copelandi. It's an Asian import, Asian beauty.
Thank you.
I wrote the name on the backs, and you got also these black cordons are from Armillaria melea.
Oh, the rhizomorphs. Yeah, shoestrings.
That thing?
Yeah.
Huh? Cool.
Yep, it was there.
And can I just ask one more question really quick? So this is not a good picture, but I saw this walking in the woods and I was like, oh, it's pretty. And I didn't, like, I just turned my camera to get a picture underneath. I didn't actually look at it until I was home later because I would have tried to take in a better photo. But you mentioned before there was some other polypore and there was like resin on top of it. Is that what this is? Is this like a resin, these little droplets here?
It could be that it was it froze, maybe. Or
Maybe
wet.
it was like, this was October 23rd. So it was like a little, it had been kind of cold and then it was warm. This was at maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon on sort of maybe like a 65-degree day.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Do a lot of mushrooms have these little drops like this?
Well, Lactarius and
Gills.
Lactifluus would sometimes exude liquid, but those don't look like Lactarius or Lactifluus.
They do look like dew, which I would have said you'd be more likely to see in the morning under a lot of the gilled mushrooms. But
It wasn't super damp. I mean, like it was a little bit damp, but there wasn't like, it wasn't like, see, there's like a little bit of something on this blade of grass here.
yeah, so there must be some moisture holding capacity of the ground for it to have that moisture still at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, because that's very unusual for a guild
You know what? I think there might be
No,
a
it isn't
species
really.
of Hebaloma that forms little droplets on the gills.
Hebaloma?
I would have to look that up. I mean, those do not look unlike Hebaloma. The
Ay,
gills,
perdón, Hebaloma.
yeah, the gills are a little bit widely spaced. And they're a little bit pale as well. I think there might be one Hebaloma. I'd have to look that up. I have a book right here, actually. Let's see.
That is really a good picture of that feature.
I
Yeah, it
didn't,
is.
like when I took the picture, I didn't scooch down because it was like in between like logs and there were all dead trees everywhere. And so I didn't even know that that was in the picture until later because I would have tried to take in more pictures.
Okay, hey, listen to this. I'm looking at Hebaloma Mesophaeum. Now, it says in the description of Hebaloma Mesophaeum, gills, close or crowded, broad, edges white fringed, not beaded with liquid when young. So that tells me that there's probably some other Hebaloma that does have beads of liquid on the gills.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
let me see. Here's Crustuliniforme. These don't really look like Crustuliniforme. The gills are too widely spaced. But Hebaloma crustuliniforme, or crustuliniform, not sure how you say it. Gills off-white, becoming grayish tan or pale brown, attached, close, broad edges, white fringed, and with clear liquid droplets when young. So I would say that at least presents the possibility of genus Hebaloma. Those don't look like Hebaloma crustuliniforme though. Hebaloma crustuliniforme on the apex, the apex of the stalk there are these, it's densely covered with these like shiny flakes. I see some shiny flakes on the stalk, but not like you would see with Cressuliforme. But that might be some sort of Hebaloma, maybe. So
Thank you.
that'd be my best guess there. You'd have to do some analysis, you know, to tell more than that.
I'm sort of new to this. I only really, like, I've been foraging for mushrooms that I know that are safe to eat for years,
Right.
but I've only recently been like interested in other things that aren't like the 3 things I know that I can eat. So
Nice.
Yeah, if you're able to figure out what that is, you've got a really nice picture that, you
Yeah.
know, would you know, people would be interested in that picture. So
yeah,
I'm an observer.
I don't think I have an account, but I could start.
It's easy. Yeah.
I don't either, but that's because I'm too stupid to figure out how to do it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you for sharing that.
All right, everyone.
that's a
Well,
good one.
thank you everyone for sharing, and
Good night.
yeah, have a good night. I'm going to send out a thing. I just got a thing from Tom Bigelow up in New York about some kind of virtual mushroom fair this weekend, the 14th. So I'm going to send something out about that. So look in your inbox for that, okay, guys? And I will see everyone next week. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Luke.